Welcome to the Carl Nelson Show
on Washington, D.C.'s 1450 WOL Radio and live around the world on WOLDCnews.com.
And thank you for staying with us, folks. Bill Cosby, that's what we're talking about. Is he a victim or just a cold-blooded psychopath? What are your thoughts? Cosby says all this is all political. You know, in fact, the DA prosecuting the case says actually won his office by campaigning that he, quote, would bring Cosby to justice. In fact, he doesn't even officially take office until tomorrow. But he was at the press conference talking about Bill Cosby. First up, we had civil rights activist brother Ray Fauntleroy tell us what it's like, why he got out of the entertainment industry. Then social activist Dick Gregory, and Greg's connections with Bill Cosby run deep. When Greg decided to join Dr. King in the civil rights movement, he was the highest paying comedian on the circuit. He was playing at the Playboy Club in Chicago. And much to Hugh Hefner's disappointment, he decided to go march to help black people with Dr. King. So Hef said, well, can you recommend somebody? He recommended Bill Cosby. This is before I Spy. And this is where it all started. That's where he hooked up with Hugh Hefner. And those in L.A. know that for years, the Playboy Jazz Festival, the Hollywood Bowl, Bill Cosby's been the MC of that event for a long, long time until his problems surfaced. So that's where Bill Cosby, I'm trying to get Greg to tell us more about it, came on the scene. They both got places in Massachusetts. You heard Marie from Massachusetts say that they're trying to build a pipeline. They're going to build a pipeline through Cosby's place in Massachusetts, and she thinks that's part of the problem too, because this big, powerful law firm has been contacted to build trillions of dollars if they can run this oil pipeline through Cosby's land, and Cosby so far has said no. But what are your thoughts? Then we had attorney Carl Berry join us to help us with the legal issues surrounding Bill Cosby and what's he's got to look forward to. But join us right now is the Minister of Information for Public Enemy, Professor Griff. Griff, welcome back to WOL Radio.
Oh, greetings, Carl Nelson, and it's glad to be back. So not bright and early in the morning, but early in the morning.
Well, we're in the afternoon, so it'll be a lot easier coming down the road. But, you know, we talked about, and that's why you here, help us out with the entertainment piece here, because people saying that entertainer, that you get all the drugs, you get all the women, so it's temptation. So how do you see this Bill Cosby piece? Because you're very analytical when looking at issues, and as an entertainer, you can also understand that side as well.
Well, I think I look at it through a different lens. I'm coming from the Steve Coakley school of thought to look at it through the lens of being in the entertainment industry. Of course, you see these things and you're afforded these things as long as you're doing their bidding. And I think we need to look at that particular perspective when you take into account that Bill Cosby was part of the B.i.l.l. And looking through it that lens, it gives a different twist, adding to the fact that he has to do their bidding because the B.i.l.l. is the advisors to the king. Now, as long as you're advising the king and the king is able to use you at the king's and queen's whim, then you're fine and you're safe, i.e., Puffy, Sean Combs, i.e. Jay-Z, i.e. a few people that they've kept out of jail and kept out of trouble. As long as you do their bidding, you're fine. Once you go left, once you speak for your people, once you don't play ball, and then you end up like Reagan and the Kennedy boys, as Steve Coakley teaches. They'll give you the I Spies and the Proud Black Family programs and these kind of things and build you up. Look at Michael Jackson's career. As long as you're doing their bidding and you're not really speaking out, they'll keep you on top, keep you rich. Not wealthy, but keep you rich. But if they wanted to use your land to run a pipeline through it, if they need you to do some other things, then they'll dig up a 20, 30-year-old mistake that you've made in the past that they gave the green light to. And then they'll use you and bring you down. So the legacy of Bill Cosby will be decided not in a criminal court, probably in a court of public opinion.
So at what point, Professor Griff, did Cosby get off the reservation? What point did he did something or said something that they didn't like?
As soon as I heard this story break some time ago, I tried to call a few people and tried to dig up some information on what happened and where was the fork in the road and why was he divorcing himself from the privileged position that he had in the B.i.l.l. being the advisor to the king, and it's buried, Carl Nelson. It's very difficult to dig up because it seems like he was playing ball. They sent him a warning and murdered his son. They sent him another warning by letting him know, no, you can't buy the network. They sent him a few other warnings. And as we know, we had really good people behind the scenes, working behind the scenes to support the liberation struggle of our people. And as soon as these things came to surface and came to light, those people started receiving pressure from the other side. So we have to be very mindful and very careful that although it may appear that Bill Cosby went on his tour to speak in behalf of trying to do something in reference to the problem, offer some solution, to the problem of black families and black people and black young people throughout the country several years ago, I sat in that audience, Carl Nelson, and it wasn't favorable to young black men to get advice from Bill Cosby. He talked about young kids, like he was really speaking as though he was one of them, one of those people on the other side. So I'm like, come on, Bill. You're being very, very harsh, but yeah, at the same time.
Well, hold the thought right there, Professor Griff. Do you think he was told to do that? He was told to admonish us?
If you were really true in your efforts in raising the conscious level of young black people and setting up programs and helping black families get out of the wretched condition that this country and this society has put us in, then what happened to the classes on Saturday? What happened to the political education classes? What happened to the training of young boys to bring them into man and through a rites of passage program that he could have set up with contacting brothers like myself and other people across the country? What happened to these things? You come in town, you do an hour or so speech, blast the young black kids, and then you leave. And we're left with a bitter taste in our mouths and having to deal with the same issues, probably worse now, after you leave. And it's like, that was not cool. I sat in that audience a couple of times, and I'm like, this is not a good look. This is not a good move, Bill. Not at all. Shortly after that, we get this. We get them coming down on Bill Cosby. And I think it's an assassination attempt to destroy, the continuation to destroy the black male image.
Speaking about that, let me ask you that, because you mentioned a couple of people in the entertainment industry. Can you make it these days in the entertainment industry without selling out?
Can you make it? Well, before you even get into the industry, as soon as they see you as an up and coming, they do the familiar thing by putting people around you to control you. You get these manufactured kind of relationships, as the gentleman wrote in his book, Full Service. I forget the gentleman's name. He said these relationships are manufactured by Hollywood. These marriages are not real, and a lot of times we see this because these virulent white men were leaning towards bisexuality and homosexuality. The Hollywood producer lots, and the lots would fabricate these marriages and marry them off to beautiful, beautiful white women to give the appearance as though they were strong white families and strong white men. And this is unheard of in the music.
Right. Hold that thought right there, Professor Griff. Folks, you too can join our conversation. Help us fight the power with Professor Griff. Reach out to us at 800-450-7876. Your calls after this traffic update on 1450 WOL. The information is power.
Welcome, NBA fans. Tonight's NBA
Man, nothing beats seeing an NBA game in person. Hey, buddy, thanks again for driving. So, where are our seats?
Oh, we're sitting right around the corner. Hey, but before we do anything, let me stop for a second at the designated driver booth and make the pledge.
Excuse me, sir. Did you say designated driver?
Yeah, I'm the designated driver tonight.
Congratulations. You are a winner. And for being the designated driver and always buckling up every trip, every time, you have won the adoration of your friends and family who will get home safely from the game.
Cool.
Your prize also includes the gratitude of all of the drivers on the road who won't have to fear for their lives. And finally, you've won the chance to follow your favorite NBA team to the NBA Finals because responsibility has its rewards.
Woo, yeah.
To find out more, visit the designated driver booth at the arena or visit rhir.org. A message from this station and Team Coalition.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn those earrings today. I like those earrings. Gabby has those awesome earrings. I need to ask her where she got those, but that's just what she would want me to do. I'll have Michaela ask her for me.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Yeah, but then Michaela will be like, why don't you just ask her yourself? That's just like Michaela.
Sarah, buckle up.
Michaela's such a great name. I wish I was called Michaela. There's like a dozen Sarahs in my class.
Hey, we're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I forget sometimes because my brain is like busy, you know? I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
Sometimes it can be tough to get through to your kids, but it's not impossible. Always make sure they're wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Remember, you have the keys, you have the power. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I liked things to always be the same. Anything new or different would scare and upset me. I was very sensitive to lights and sounds. It was almost like I had bigger eyes and ears than everyone else. So I built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. I didn't like looking people in the eye. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'd throw big tantrums over little things like when my socks didn't match. Sometimes I'd do the same things over and over. Until one day, I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
1450 WOL, where information is power.
This show has been previously recorded. No phone calls, please.
Real Talk Radio in the AM. Carl Nelson on 1450 WOL.
And thank you for rolling with us 16 after the hour. 800-450-7876. Speak to the Minister of Information, Professor Griff from Public Enemy. Professor Griff, a lot of folks are saying that this came down, the timing was to take, there was a distraction from what went on with Tamir Rice and some of the other controversial police shootings in Chicago. Your thoughts, or is it just a coincidence?
No, there's no such thing as a coincidence. And if the saying goes, if something is happening in government and in politics, it was designed that way. And timing is something that, and distraction is something that they use for the few of us that keep our finger on the pulse of our people to constantly come up with solutions to an ever-changing, oppressive kind of mind state that they want to impose on those of us that act as leaders in the black community. And we need to understand that. So there's no such thing as a coincidence. It's probably coming down at a time when not only Tamir Rice, but there are a few brothers and sisters that are up and coming that, I don't want to mention their names, that could take leadership positions in the black community because, you know, they're establishing themselves and being the voice of the black community. And we need to look at it, Carl, like even if they're not slowing these particular up and coming leaders down. They're sending a signal to those of us that would be up and coming to take these particular positions as leadership over the black community. They could be sending a warning that says this could be you if you don't play ball. Carl, some of these women came out after 30 years. That is a long time. And if we kind of look at it through a different lens, Carl, first question all of us, I think, asked, I know I asked, why? Why after 30 years? What happened in the last 30 years? And some say, well, Professor Griff, these women have been complaining about this and have been reported this and have been telling people, but no one would listen. The question then becomes, why are they listening now? And then why is it seem like it's a trend among white people who are in charge and in control to make leaders out of comedians? Repeat
that again.
Why is it that we see a trend among those who are in control in this particular society will go among black people and make comedians leaders, who would make leaders out of rappers and entertainers, as though we don't have qualified people that can lead us, and we do, Carl. So we need to take a look at these things, and if you're too cowardly to answer the question, at least ask the daggone question.
It's a rhetorical question, folks, but it's real. What Professor Griff is just saying. Let me ask you, go back to when you were with Public Enemy. At what point did you understand the business part of the game? Because I know you guys, you love the music part of the industry. That's what you were doing, entertaining and informing our people as well. You just wasn't clowning around. You guys are dropping science whenever you perform. At what point did you figure out that somebody doesn't want us to do it this way anymore?
It kind of hit me in a small way. But going in, Carl, we knew what we were up against because we knew what we wanted to do. This is how come we set Public Enemy up as a 2-year program. We were going to get in the music industry, shock the industry, and we were going to get out of the industry if we could with our lives. Myself, Chuck D, and a few of the brothers, we knew going in what we would be up against. It was just that after the 2-year mark, I began to be my departure, and everybody else wanted to stay. I don't know what it was. But anyway, we were already politically astute, and we knew what we were up against. This is why we made the plan that we made, and we made the kind of moves that we made. Now, you asked a question on the business tip. That we had to learn, Carl Nelson, because it's an ever-changing business model, not on the surface, Carl, behind the scenes with the relationships that you make with other artists, with business people in the music industry, and then those business people outside of the music industry. And when they start, throwing women and money your way and drugs, which every group goes through, that's your test. And then even beyond that, it's your test. And you've seen it with how they handled Professor Griff in Public Enemy, how they handled versus how they handled Flavor Flav. And then, Chuck trying to juggle both and then keep himself afloat. We're going through the trials and tribulations in his personal life. So now when the NWA movie came out, then white people all of a sudden want to revisit Public Enemy's career, and now they want to construct and put a movie together based on Public Enemy's career. So now the question becomes, how do you handle Professor Griff and the Jewish question? This is what's on the table, being discussed right now as we speak. And I take my hat off to the S1Ws, Mike, James, Pop, and the rest of the brothers on how they're handling this particular question, because they're not the same brothers as they used to be. They used to be young and easily influenced. Now they have some years under their belt and some knowledge of the music industry and some of the key players, and they're handling the Griff question with care now.
Well, let me ask you this, and straight up, can they, if they do the PE piece on screen, can they manipulate the Professor Griff character so that you're not portrayed as how you really are? Is that possible?
I'm gonna save that language for off the air, Carl. But if I've been in this long, and all that they've offered me, money, women, drugs, fame, reality shows, and the rest of it, and they haven't broken me yet. They're not going to break me, Carl. I gave an oath to the ancestors and to our people. I'm gonna ride this one out until they lower me in the ground, man. I'm gonna forever speak for our people and raise the conscious level of our people. There's nothing that they can offer me, Carl. I'm built for this, man. For real.
Glad to hear that. But aren't you concerned about your safety? Because you're in a terrible car accident recently. Aren't you ever concerned that they may come at you another way?
Car accident recently. House was set on fire and burned down. I've been shot at and poisoned. So I'm good. I'm like Bebe's kids, man. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to be here, man. But Carl, even if they do take my life, you and other brothers in the listening audience will know that was a man that spoke for black people, and I serve black people, and I'm determined to raise the conscious level of our people. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm going to tell you, like Marcus Garvey said, you're going to have to deal with what I stay living while I'm living or dead. Plain and simple. We still got to answer these questions. Am I right or wrong?
You're absolutely right. 24 after the hour. Folks, you want to join this conversation with Professor Griff? Lines are wide open. 800-450-7876. Again, that's 800-450-7876. Griff, are there any entertainers, artists, whether they be singers, rappers, out there right now that have not, sold us out?
Yes, but you know something, Brother Carl? I spoke with a few of them, and they're trying to figure out how to help our people.
All right, hold that thought right. This is interesting. We got to take a quick break. I'll let you expound on that on the other side. As I mentioned, you can join the conversation with Professor Griff. Reach out to us at toll-free worldwide at 800-450-7876. Your call's next as the big show rolls on from the nation's capital on 1450 WOL, where information is power.
Welcome, NBA fans. Tonight's NBA
Man, nothing beats seeing an NBA game in person. Hey, buddy, thanks again for driving. So, where are our seats?
Oh, we're sitting right around the corner. Hey, but before we do anything, let me stop for a second at the designated driver booth and make the pledge.
Excuse me, sir. Did you say designated driver?
Yeah, I'm the designated driver tonight.
Congratulations. You are a winner. And for being the designated driver and always buckling up every trip, every time, you have won the adoration of your friends and family who will get home safely from the game.
Cool.
Your prize also includes the gratitude of all of the drivers on the road who won't have to fear for their lives. And finally, you've won the chance to follow your favorite NBA team to the NBA Finals because responsibility has its rewards.
Woo! Yeah!
To find out more, visit the designated driver booth at the arena or visit rhir.org. A message from this station and Team Coalition.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm dropping you off at Emily's?
Yep.
And Josh, you're going to?
Soccer, Dad. Soccer practice.
Right. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know when I pick you both up, I'll be wearing my short shorts.
What?
No!
Yep, and my dorky dad hat, and I'm going to do my dad dance for all your friends. They'll love it!
Seriously? Why?
Because I like my short shorts. Of course, I could be talked out of it if you guys would just buckle up your seatbelts without giving me a hard time.
It's important to get your kids to buckle up for safety, no matter what it takes. And sometimes, all it takes is your parental powers of persuasion.
Okay, we're buckling up.
See, all buckled.
Good choice. I'll just have to do my dad dance at dinner time.
What?
No!
Do what you have to make sure your kids are wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information. Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn those earrings today. I like those earrings. Gabby has those awesome earrings. I need to ask her where she got those, but that's just what she would want me to do. I'll have Michaela ask her for me.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Yeah, but then Michaela will be like, why don't you just ask her yourself? That's just like Michaela.
Sarah, buckle up.
Michaela's such a great name. I wish I was called Michaela. There's like a dozen Sarahs in my class.
Hey, we're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I forget sometimes because my brain is like busy, I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
Sometimes it can be tough to get through to your kids, but it's not impossible. Always make sure they're wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Remember, you have the keys, you have the power. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
1450 WOL, where information is power.
This show has been previously recorded. No phone calls, please.
Real talk radio in the AM.
The #1 morning show. #1 on everybody list.
Carl Nelson on 1450 WOL.
And thank you for rolling with us 28 after the hour with Professor Griff from Public Enemy. We started off talking about Bill Cosby. And one of our callers earlier mentioned about what goes on in Hollywood. A lot of satanic stuff they mentioned. Maybe Professor Griff will help us out because he's been in the entertainment industry, and he decided to keep his integrity and back out. But Professor Griff, before we took the break, you said there are some positive brothers and sisters who are doing good stuff in the entertainment industry, are not selling out.
Right. Let's correct a few things that you just said. I didn't back out at all. I stayed the course in the music industry. It was others that chose to lessen my role in Public Enemy because I guess they saw that I wasn't backing down and I wasn't backing away from it, and I never decided to not be in Public Enemy or not be Professor Griff Minister of Information. I'm still in Public Enemy. I'm still in the music industry. I'm just not playing their game. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. And now, explain that. What is their game?
I think their game, Carl, is that if you want to be rich and famous like we made some of these Negroes over here, then just tote the line. You understand what I'm saying? We'll find you a white woman somewhere. We'll set you up with a house, and we'll set you up with a couple of movie deals, with a couple of beer commercials, and we'll get you support from, hook you up with Hugh Hefner, and you can stay a weekend at the Playboy Palace and the mansion and that kind of thing, and just play ball. So when we call on you, Will.i.am, to support the president, and we need a song from you, then we'll do that. Well, when we need you, T.I., we'll call on you, and if not, we'll set you up on a gun charge or some drug charges. But you got to play ball. When we call on you, Will Smith, we need you to do our bidding because we need someone to play a very homosexual role in a movie somewhere. Then when we call on you, you better come or we'll destroy you. And this is what they do. And a lot of these people are just under control. And a lot of them finding themselves having to resurrect their careers via reality shows which are borderline scripted. And it's just sad. I'm never going to be in that space. Some people say, well, never say never. I'm telling you, I'm never going to be in that space. Because once you're conscious, you see things through a whole different lens, Carl. They try to have control of something.
Who are threatening you on one hand or trying to entice you on the other? Is this the same group of people?
Well, my thing is that it's an ever-changing face, but it's the same agenda. So this it may not look like the beautiful woman. After they match your frequency and they know what you like and they send her your way, you may not think that this is a part of that agenda and that program, but it is to slow you down, to derail you. And I'm not saying I recognized it every single time, but I'm still standing. I'm still vertical enough to begin to pen and ink the next book dealing with the signs and symbols and what's going on and how we should recognize them, because it's an all familiar agenda and pattern that they use. They change it up every now and then according to who they're coming after. Like, for example, Carl, can I give you a real life example?
Sure. We
released an album called Man Plans, God Laughs. We dropped some very instrumental things on that album. This is Public Enemy I'm talking about now. Now, why when the Tamir Rice thing dropped, they dropped the LeBron James commercial at the same time. Public Enemy is gaining traction at the same time the Tamir Rice thing is happening. And the commercial is a Public Enemy song with LeBron James in it called Welcome to the Terror Dome. And they have white people walking through the commercial mouthing Public Enemy's lyrics, Chuck D's lyrics. So if we look deeper into that, are they setting LeBron up, or are they grooming the people to want to now come back after Public Enemy since the NWA movie came out? Listen, these people never stop. They have round-the-clock shifts. They're always working to see how they can bring down and further destroy the black male image.
Wow, that's deep. And I was going to ask you about the Tamir Rice and LeBron. Is it fair for the people who are asking LeBron to boycott or sit out a couple of games out of respect for what happened to Tamir Rice?
Yes, because what makes us think that LeBron James is not asking us that when all the other shootings went down in our prospective cities, how come we went to work? So why are we putting that pressure and that responsibility solely on the shoulders of LeBron James. LeBron James is not a Muhammad Ali. He's not conscious in that kind of way. You understand what I'm saying? So we shouldn't put it on LeBron James. I think if LeBron James can do what LeBron James can do wherever he's at. You understand what I'm saying? And if he wants to wear the T-shirt, I can't breathe, or some of the basketball players and the NBA players want to protest in their own way, we have to let them do it in their own way. We can't dictate to them. And let's get something straight, Carl. When we talk about artists selling out, just because Burger King might come along and do a deal with Mary J. Blige and want to do a commercial, if we look at that as selling out, or can Mary J. Blige now turn that endorsement deal and turn around and go take that money and do something constructive in the hood? And we have to be very, very careful about that, because I've seen Dr. Dre, I think he had a Dr. Pepper commercial, Dougie Fresh had a beer commercial, Mary J. Blige hooked up with Burger King. I think Big Daddy Kane did something with Playgirl magazine, and a few other artists did a few other things. Flavor did VH1 thing and a few other commercials. So we have to be very mindful as to what is actually selling out. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you.
It's a thin line between love and hate, man.
It really is. 25 away from the top of the hour. 800-450-7876. Go line 2. CP's calling us from South Central Los Angeles. CP, you're on with Professor Griff.
Top of the morning, and thank you, Carl, for taking my call. And top of the morning to you, Brother Professor Griff. How are you?
I'm all right. How you feel, good brother?
Look, I hear you, bro, and I hear that drum roll, man. I've heard you before, and I love it. But now, you see, what's the title of selling out, man? You will go along, get along. I'm gonna say, especially the brothers. We've been talking to them too long. Like I say, not only should we do the Sambo Award, but we need to ice them out, turn our back on the second. When these people see,
hold on for a second, CP. Let me ask Griff this, because since you mentioned you call them the cool out people, should we call them out, Professor Griff? Are you in that camp that says people were selling out? Should we call them out, or should we save our ammunition for something else? Stay with us,
No,
CP.
I think before calling them out, I think we should handle it in a more respectful way. People have said stuff about me that wasn't even true, calling themselves exposing me, and it just wasn't the case, Carl. And then when you go to retract that stuff and apologize, it's still out. Listen, Carl, we need to understand that once the arrow leaves the bow, you can't call it back.
There you go. Let me say this now. Let me call. I don't want to get sidetracked. Excuse me.
Hold on, CP, because we're going to take a quick break for the news here. I'll let you pose your question to Professor Griff. Folks, you too can join the discussion. Reach out to us. It's real easy. It's real simple, too. It's toll-free. It's worldwide. It's 800-450-7876. Your calls after the news update on 1450. WOL, where information is power.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn those earrings today. I like those earrings. Gabby has those awesome earrings. I need to ask her where she got those, but that's just what she would want me to do. I'll have Michaela ask her for me.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Yeah, but then Michaela will be like, why don't you just ask her yourself? That's just like Michaela.
Sarah, buckle up.
Michaela's such a great name. I wish I was called Michaela. There's like a dozen Sarahs in my class.
Hey, we're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I forget sometimes because my brain is like busy, you know? I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
Sometimes it can be tough to get through to your kids, but it's not impossible. Always make sure they're wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Remember, you have the keys, you have the power. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
You use Tearless Baby Shampoo because it's gentle on your baby's eyes. You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You always test the bathwater to make sure it's not too hot. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You make sure she wears a helmet when she rides her bicycle. You put on his sunscreen, even when he's embarrassed his friends will see. You do so much to keep your child safe, but are you using the right car seat for your child? Is your child facing the right way in the car seat? Is the seat too big or too small? How do you know when it's time to move your child into the next type of seat? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm dropping you off at Emily's?
Yep.
And Josh, you're going to?
Soccer, Dad. Soccer practice.
Right. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know when I pick you both up, I'll be wearing my short shorts.
What?
No!
Yep. And my dorky dad hat, and I'm gonna do my dad dance for all your friends. They'll love it!
Seriously? Why?
Because I like my short shorts. Of course, I could be talked out of it if you guys would just buckle up your seatbelts without giving me a hard time.
It's important to get your kids to buckle up for safety, no matter what it takes. And sometimes, all it takes is your parental powers of persuasion.
Okay, we're buckling up.
See, all buckled.
Good choice. I'll just have to do my dad dance at dinner time. What?
No!
Do what you have to make sure your kids are wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
1450 WOL, where information is power.
This show has been previously recorded. No phone calls, please.
Your voice can now be heard.
Y'all ready?
Yeah. With Carl Nelson weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. on 1450 WOL.
And thank you for staying with us. It's 20 away from the top of the hour with the Public Enemy's Minister of Information, Professor Griff. Let's go back out to L.A. in South Central Los Angeles on line 2. CP's been waiting for us. CP, your question or your comment for Professor Griff?
Yes, Carl, and my other way phone is not working, so I'd like to hear you respond. Well, listen, Professor Griff, you got the history. You know the real. We've been too soft on crime. Like, oh yes, it's a good way to call them out. No, we don't call the ones that we know is them kind of folks until the rest of them, if they don't come onto the table, and we just put some commitments, because we're in society, other people, Professor Griff, and you know it. When they see you weak and you're not taking care of your people, anything can happen. You know, also playing these homosexual roles and down. So call them to the table. Let's sign some, get a real commitment. Look, if you step across this line, that means that you ain't for it. How are we going to tell other people about how we're going to do this and how we're going to do it? We have to get our house in order. A lot of those rappers, Professor Griff, I disagree with a lot of negative rap and stuff, but let's take some of that money and work it like we used to do back in the days and work it back up to that conscience. I want to hear brothers like you writing that positive music. So let's bring some Chris Mayfield back. Let's get this movement really cracking. And when they're talking about having a gathering on March, when that's over, Professor Griff, let's go buy some buildings and stuff. We can work this here. If we don't work it, we need to work it right now and stop letting them cool down, grow along people, get along, sell us out because they're doing more damage than the person that we were talking, the people that we were talking about. And it's been an ongoing thing for too long, and I'm tired of these little cool down folks. Let me hear this comment, Carl. And thank you, Professor Griff, and Happy New Year, man. We got to look up, okay?
All right. No, I can respect what the brother is saying, and I want the brother to know I never said that. If we know that these people are toting that line and they chose to be on the other side of the fence, and of course they have to be exposed because they're cancers in the black community. He mentioned the fact, I keep hearing this concept called about positive music. We're never going to have positive music until we control the music that we produce and the music that we put out. Because the other people, there's always going to be a negative song somewhere, Carl.
You know what, I almost called you CP. Professor Griff, explain that. What do you mean we'll never control the music that we put out? You guys put out music and we buy the music, so who's really in control?
I mean, if we have studios and you make music, but you still have to take your music and turn it over to someone else to mix, master. This is where they put the negative frequencies in it and the demonic images and the messages in the music on a subconscious level. Once you turn it over to someone else, then you're no longer in control of it. And then you have to give it to someone to run it through their infrastructure to get it out globally, you're no longer in control. So you can make all the positive music you want. If you're turning it over to someone else for mixing, mastering, and distribution, then there's an issue.
So we don't have any distribution channels?
We do. There's a few companies out there now that are distributing music on a global level. One of them is Millennium 5. There's a couple of other companies out there called, and they're up and coming companies that do multimedia and that can actually get your music out there on a global level, and you can actually control it. But now, what happens, Carl, when the $2 or $3 million deal come your way and they want to use your commercial, your song for a Cadillac commercial, or use your song in a movie? What happens? You still got to turn it over to them because we're not in those particular spaces that we can control the music on that level. And what artist wouldn't want their song in a Nike commercial or Samsung or T-Mobile commercial? You understand what I'm saying? And we have to be very, very mindful and know how to process worse. So I want to ask, Carl, is there a difference between selling out, and selling your soul? A lot of artists that went beyond the whole scope of selling out. They trying to survive. They don't ever want to be poor again. Now they're on a soul level where they're selling their souls never to get them back. So when a rapper's career is over, it almost seems like they are over.
And they toss them to the side. Can you sympathize with them at that point?
When we talk about empathy, we talk about sympathizing with them. I'm not sure, Carl. I wrote the book, The Psychological Covert War on Hip-Hop, and that's what the brother was just talking about. The information is now out there. And a lot of these artists go into it knowing these particular things. And I think once they realize it, you know, they can make the right decision, like a Dave Chappelle or some of these other artists. I was trying to say earlier that there's some artists and some sports players, NBA players, that have contacted me, and they are on it, but they can't go public with it. They have to lend their support from behind the scenes, Carl. And are they selling out by keeping their mouths shut? If that's the case, then we have to put the weight back on every brother that went through the Masonic Lodge, because they don't tell the secret. You understand what I'm saying? Why should we put the pressure on these particular artists that want to support? Harry Belafonte stayed behind the scenes to a certain degree, supporting Dr. King. Some people would call him a sellout. That's why I said we have to be very careful.
Understood. 800-450-7876. Go to line 3. Ted's calling us from Jersey. Ted, you're on with Professor Griff.
Yes. Good morning, gentlemen, and thank you for taking my call. My question is basically, how would you explain Oprah Winfrey's phenomenal success? Would you say that she might come under attack at some time in the same way that Bill Cosby has come under attack? And how would you compare her philanthropic practices to Bill Cosby?
Well, I think Oprah Winfrey is not a special case at all. If you really look into it beyond the money, beyond the riches, beyond the fame, beyond her putting a few people on, I think it's the same agenda. It's the same agenda. And when they call, listen, let me say this. There's a movie out called Brotherhood of the Bell. And this gentleman, this movie, I think it's late 70s, this movie talked about this professor who was in the Illuminati, the secret society, for 20 years until they called on him to do their bidding. And it really tore him apart with what they asked him to do. So, brother, until Oprah Winfrey is called to do their bidding, then we will never know the fiber and what this woman is really made out of. And we have to understand this to the degree. She may not ever be called.
Okay.
But
all right.
Would they hold this thing over your head knowing that they're in control? Can I ask you a question, sir?
Sure.
Oprah Winfrey, does she write her own check?
As far as I know, she does, yes.
Well, who owns the network? who owns the infrastructure that, she kind of runs her thing through. What's wrong with we like Gaddafi owning our own satellite? Okay. And I know you're saying, well, how much does a satellite cost? Well, what's wrong? We own controlling our own destiny by controlling our own communication.
So you're saying her financial situation was basically given to her by the people that are in power.
Exactly. Those people that made the moves so that Oprah Winfrey could be in the position that she's in. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Ted. Thanks for your call. Got to take a quick break here. Professor Griff, and come back, take some more calls through 800-450-7876. You too can fight the power with Professor Griff next on 1450 WOL, where information is power.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm dropping you off at Emily's?
Yep.
And Josh, you're going to?
Soccer, Dad. Soccer practice.
Right. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know when I pick you both up, I'll be wearing my short shorts.
What?
No!
Yep, and my dorky dad hat, and I'm going to do my dad dance for all your friends. They'll love it!
Seriously? Why?
Because I like my short shorts. Of course, I could be talked out of it if you guys would just buckle up your seatbelts without giving me a hard time.
It's important to get your kids to buckle up for safety, no matter what it takes. And sometimes, all it takes is your parental powers of persuasion.
Okay, we're buckling up.
See, all buckled.
Good choice. I'll just have to do my dad dance at dinner time.
What?
No!
Do what you have to make sure your kids are wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
Welcome, NBA fans. Tonight's NBA
Man, nothing beats seeing an NBA game in person. Hey, buddy, thanks again for driving. So, where are our seats?
Oh, we're sitting right around the corner. Hey, but before we do anything, let me stop for a second at the designated driver booth and make the pledge.
Excuse me, sir. Did you say designated driver?
Yeah, I'm the designated driver tonight.
Congratulations. You are a winner. And for being the designated driver and always buckling up, every trip, every time, you have won the adoration of your friends and family who will get home safely from the game.
Cool.
Your prize also includes the gratitude of all of the drivers on the road who won't have to fear for their lives. And finally, you've won the chance to follow your favorite NBA team to the NBA Finals because responsibility has its rewards.
Woo! Yeah!
To find out more, visit the designated driver booth at the arena or visit rhir.org. A message from this station and Team Coalition.
You use Tearless baby shampoo because it's gentle on your baby's eyes. You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You always test the bathwater to make sure it's not too hot. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You make sure she wears a helmet when she rides her bicycle. You put on his sunscreen, even when he's embarrassed his friends will see. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Is your child facing the right way in the car seat? Is the seat too big or too small? How do you know when it's time to move your child into the next type of seat? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
1450 WOL, where information is power.
This show has been previously recorded. No phone calls, please.
It's 8 away from the top of the hour with Professor Griff from Public Enemy. Number to call to speak to Griff is 800-450-7876. Before we take another call, I got to ask you this question because there's a story being floating around on the internet, Professor Griff, is saying that a group decided that no more they're going to push any positive rap, if you will, or positive hip-hop, and they decided that they're going to push this negative music on our people. And they had some sort of meeting, and they came up with it, and the whole deal. Have you heard that? And if you have, is there any truth to that?
No, I haven't heard that call. Not at all. No.
Yeah, because there was talk that these record execs had a meeting somewhere in Beverly Hills and decided to say, hey, we're not going to push.
You're talking about the anonymous letter that went out that connected the business people in the music industry that owned basically the record companies and the distribution companies doing deals with private prisons.
Right. Is there any truth to that, or is
Yes,
that
sir.
just some
No. There's actually truth to that. Yes, sir. There's truth to that. But even if we can't identify who put the anonymous letter out, we dove into the letter and then we made the connection between what they were saying and then when the music industry changed. Because when thug life was possible, when gangster rap was thriving, all the record companies opened their doors up to anybody with a funny sounding thug name and gave them a record deal. And as long as you was pushing that poison and pushing that madness, they made distribution on a global level very profitable for these particular individuals. Unbeknownst to them, at the end of that short run and that short career, they would later arrest these individuals on trumped-up charges and neutralize them. So it's never worked out for anyone. It may worked out for a few people. Ice-T became a movie star. Ice Cube became a movie star and a director and this thing. But for the vast majority of those brothers and sisters that wanted to become so-called gangster rappers, it really never worked out for them. But look at the damage that we've done to the black community as a result of those songs being out there.
Do you ever have conversations with those folks, the gangster rappers, the ones that are doing all the negative recordings on, and putting all the negativity out there? Because they know you as a conscious brother. Do they ever step to you and say, man, I really didn't want to do that, but, the money was too good? Or do they ever come to you for in confidence and for advice?
Yes, of course, not necessarily advice, but we do talk. I know Ice-T and Ice Cube personally. And we talked, and it wasn't a thing that they needed the money, so to speak. Like I often said on this show, Carl, these brothers was young, impressionable, and just wanted to get out of the hood. You understand what I'm saying? And they did what they wrote what they wanted to write about in reference to their experience. Let me ask
you, if that was the case, then once they got out, why didn't they come back and help?
That's what I was leading to. That was my point. It was like, okay, now that you're in position, now the question now becomes is, can you help? Will the people that you signed these contracts with allow you to help? You understand what I'm saying? Like right now, I think Ice Cube can use his platform to now turn around and come back to the hood. Not to say that he's left the hood, but he had to in a certain kind of way, but come back now and speak to those brothers and sisters about his experience now that he's mature. Now he understands the game. He went through his trials and tribulations in NWA in the music industry, as the movie told. And you can come back now. The question is, will they ever? And can they? And who is it that's signing Ice Cube's check that may or may not allow him to come back and educate us in the hood?
Does the same thing go for Dr. Dre and that money he gave to USC? Because a lot of people saying he could have gotten into a lot of black colleges who were teetering on financial disaster. It would have really helped them out. USC's got all the money that they need.
Exactly, and that's a prime example. Simply because I don't think Dr. Dre picked the school he wanted to give the money to. I think they picked the school for him. You understand what I'm saying? That it'll be cool if you didn't help finance the HSBCs across the country, that if you gave money to this school, then because that's their doing, that's their agenda. That's their agenda.
So basically, you say he had no call in the situation. They're just, okay, it's my money, even though it's my money and it's going out of my name. We're going to donate it to the school that I like.
Put it this way, Paul: a suggestion whispered in the ear by his handlers is in order.
So even if these guys wanted to help the community, the black community, if he wanted to say, I'm going to give that money to Spelman or Howard or FAMU, they wouldn't be able to do it? Is that what you're telling us?
I'm saying in no uncertain terms that if black entertainers and recording artists that have reached the level where they can now turn around and donate millions of dollars, and if they use it as a write-off, fine. But it's a far-fetched idea to ever think that they will turn around and put that money to where it can really be used for good to uplift the consciousness and the wretched condition of black people, whether you in or out of school. That's very, very rare. These people are handled and controlled, and their checks are written by those people that don't want to see black people come out of this condition that we're in. This is why those of us like myself that have always been on the positive side of this thing, that have always tried to connect with these brothers to get these brothers to come speak to black people and donate their money. This is why it's so very difficult. So Professor Griff can have a personal relationship with these brothers and sisters like Queen Latifah and other people, but yet I can barely get them to budge to come back to the hood and put the money where the money is needed.
So what do they tell you, Griff? Because you know all of these guys. You know how much they're banking, and you tell them to help us out in the hood. What do they say? Did they tell you, come out and say, well, my man won't let me do it, or what do they say?
No, they basically say they help in the way that they want to help, in the way that they can, help. And we have to respect that, Carl. If they want to take $5 million, they know they want to donate, they want to give, but they don't want to give to help a program, an African-centered program at independent schools, or they want to help a Rites of Passage program. That is their prerogative.
All right, hold that thought right there. We got to take a quick break for a traffic update. And we come back, take some calls here. Also, I'll tell you one particular, well, I won't even tell you the name, but it's a situation with Dr. Claude Anderson. Folks, you too can join our conversation with Professor Griff. Reach out to us at 800-450-7876. Again, that's 800-450-7876. Your calls after this traffic and weather update on 1450 WOL, where information is power.
Welcome, NBA fans. Tonight's NBA
Man, nothing beats seeing an NBA game in person. Hey, buddy, thanks again for driving. So, where are our seats?
Oh, we're sitting right around the corner. Hey, but before we do anything, let me stop for a second at the designated driver booth and make the pledge.
Excuse me, sir. Did you say designated driver?
Yeah, I'm the designated driver tonight.
Congratulations. You are a winner. And for being the designated driver and always buckling up, every trip, every time, you have won the adoration of your friends and family who will get home safely from the game.
Cool.
Your prize also includes the gratitude of all of the drivers on the road who won't have to fear for their lives. And finally, you've won the chance to follow your favorite NBA team to the NBA Finals because responsibility has its rewards.
Woo! Yeah!
To find out more, visit the designated driver booth at the arena or visit rhir.org. A message from this station and Team Coalition.
Confessions of a Potentially Perfect Parent, brought to you by AdoptUsKids.org.
Okay, here goes. I know more about cooking dinner for a party of 12 than I do about packing a lunch for a 12-year-old. I know kids like things like PB&J, pigs in a blanket. Oh, and fish sticks. They do love fish sticks. Fillets I get, but sticks? What part of the fish does the stick come from? I know I can read a cookbook that'll tell me how to make a red wine reduction, but where are the cookbooks that can teach me how to cut the crusts off bologna sandwiches? Oh, maybe we can compromise on mac and cheese. Can you make that with brie? Everybody likes brie, right?
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to push your food around their plate. Call 1-888-200-4005 or visit AdoptUsKids.org for more information. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
Here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we've got a pep talk that can motivate you.
Sometimes things don't always turn out the way you want them to.
You can improve your future. Now get your game face on and take the first step towards a better life. Hurry up. Don't make me repeat myself.
Whatever level of motivation you need, we've got a pep talk for you. Call 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or visit yourged.org for your pep talk and for free classes in your area. GED is a registered trademark of the American Council on Education, brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
WOL Washington, WPRS HD2 Waldorf, WKYS HD2 Washington, WMMJ HD2 Bethesda, celebrating 35 years of service to the community, where information is power.
This show has been previously recorded. No phone calls, please. The views and opinions of the following show do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of News Talk 1450 WOL, Radio 1 Incorporated, or their management.
1450 WOL, where information is power.
This show has been previously recorded. No phone calls, please. The opinions of the following show do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of News Talk 1450 WOL, Radio 1 Incorporated, or their management. Welcome to the Carl Nelson Show.
On Washington, D.C.'s 1450 WOL Radio and live around the world on WOLDCnews.com.
Thank you for staying with us, and our guest, Professor Griff from Public Enemy. Because most of you know he was the Minister of Information. To have some insight into how the entertainment industry works, as we see it in full force taking effect right in front of our very eyes with Bill Cosby. You know, we starting off talking about, was he a victim, or is Bill just a cold-blooded psychopath? You know, your thoughts. 800-450-7876. You know, Professor Griff, before we left for the traffic update, we talked about whether or not your handlers for some of these successful entertainers will allow them to give money or support black causes. And I'll share a story with you with Dr. Claude Anderson. I wanted international entertainer, heard Dr. Anderson on the radio one day and called and says, man, I love what Dr. Anderson, I want to donate to the Harvest Institute because it's the only think tank that's solely for black people. I'm down with that. You know, I grew up in the South, I want to help Dr. Anderson make this dream a reality. And so I put him in touch with Dr. Anderson. Says, cool. So he says, I got some money I got to write off because it's close to the end of the year. So after it started, I said, Doc, did so-and-so come through? And he says, man, he called me crying like a baby and said that he really wanted to do it, but his people told him that the Harvest Institute is too black. Because if the word got out that he was helping something for black people, it would destroy his career. And he says he really, really, really wanted. He says I really wanted to fund the entire program that you got at the Harvest Institute. But he says they tell me my career will die if the word ever got out that I helped black people in such a way. So, brother, Professor Griff, I understand what you're saying because that stuff out there, the handlers, is real. How do we break that though? Is Griff still with us? Hopefully,
can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yes, sir. It's not like you taking a few dollars and you giving it to some brother who has a program down at the local youth center. You understand? So you're talking in terms of potentially changing the lives of hundreds of black people, if not thousands of black people, with a donation like that. And with a financial move like that. The whole idea of black people getting together as far as our unity is concerned to make a difference in the lives of the rest of us, racism, white supremacy knows this firsthand. And they have people in place, black people in place, that will snuggle up next to you and say, listen, people that snuggle up next to me, Carl, and said, you think you might want to think twice about making a move like that and this, that, and the other. And then when I make the move, even if the move is a positive move, I see some of those people will turn around then and join that positive move to redirect that positive move. And it's always someone that looks like us. You understand what I'm saying? Because they're part of that agenda.
So what do you do? Because CP talked about that. Do you call them out, or you just give them some space?
Those that we know that are actually participating in this, we have to. He's absolutely correct. We have to call them out. We have to call them out. Someone said, how many times have I done this interview with you, Carl? At least a half a dozen times.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Jones called me for 2 years. I went on the Alex Jones show 1, 2, 3 times, and all of a sudden Griff is a sellout. Come on, stop that. I've done 4,700 interviews in my career. 4,700. Mostly with white people. But Professor Griff is a sellout because I did an interview with a white person. Stop that. So this is what I'm saying to the brother that called from L.A. We just have to be careful because you could easily, because of that, add Professor Griff's name to the list. I thought when you sell out, Carl, you get something for it. I didn't get anything from that, but trying to reach those black people that will not listen to Carl Nelson, but will listen to Alex Jones. And we do have those people that are out there. They come up to me at the lecture. They come up to me at the bookstore. They say, listen, I heard you on Alex Jones' show, and I like what you said, brother. And that led them to a Carl Nelson show. You understand what I'm saying?
Right, because I heard those whispers too. Professor Griff is selling us out because he went and spoke to Alex Jones. I heard those whispers, and in effect, they were trying to tell me not to put you back on because you went on with Alex Jones. And
that's sad because I like I said, I did 4,700 interviews, and from every white magazine on Public Enemy's rise and in the music industry. I've done all kind of interviews. I've made all kind of appearances, did all kind of photo shoots. But I'm still on my job. And any black person that has a blog talk show or a radio show or a magazine, I'm open to do the interview. I've never turned them down. Because if I could do the Alex Jones show, then anytime Carl Nelson call me, I'm here. And you already know that.
That's true. 800-450-7876. Let's take some calls for you. Let's go to Washington, D.C. on line 2. Timrod, you have a question or comment for Professor Griff?
Much love and respect, Professor Griff. This is Tim Roth from the Black People's Movement down here in D.C.
Good, thanks. How you feel, good brother?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. And you know what, brother? I think we got the solution, man. It's the low-income housing complex that's going to set up the distribution for us. See, I believe that these Jews who set up this industry is using the arts to make sure that we can't see the pyramids the same way that they're using our money to take Palestine. Well, they did take it. They took it off the map. But anyway, the hood, man, there's so many black people stuck in one location. And this is where the distribution, see, money, I believe, is not transferred by money. Money is transferred by having a conversation. And it has to start with a free conversation, though. We keep trying to sell to our black folks and try to figure out how to give them stuff for free. It's like we got some kind of omen on why you ain't paying and why you ain't working on. But I thought we had pyramids and we had free apples. How do you build bigger structures and live free? And in this society, you got to pay and can't build.
Right. Can I ask you something, good brother?
Yeah, brother.
Are you talking about the old paradigm, selling something to someone? Because all of the music now is being digitally downloaded. There's 5 billion cell phones. Excuse me?
No, I hear you. I understand what you're saying.
Well, let me ask you this, Griff. Does that make a difference then? Because most of us listening are used to, at one time we bought albums and 45s or even cassette decks and CDs. So what's the difference now? Is it easier for an artist to make money now than us for physically going in there and buying an album or a CD or that product, or downloading? Which is easier? You make more money which way?
I think you make more money with a digital download because it's cheaper to manufacture and produce. It's ones and zeros. And anyone out there in the computer world and know that language, they know what I'm talking about. You don't have to press up, get plastic, get CDs, package it, graphic artists and all this kind of stuff, and warehouse 10,000 CDs somewhere in a warehouse, which takes up space. No, these are digital downloads. Downloading to 5 billion cell phones that are out on the market. It's a lot easier, but it's more difficult to track it, Carl. How do you distribute it, track it, and monitor it in order to get your money? So what the gentleman on the phone is saying, that we got to go where black people are. Everyone has a cell phone. Hell, I got...
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn those earrings today. I like those earrings. Gabby has those awesome earrings. I need to ask her where she got those, but that's just what she would want me to do. I'll have Michaela ask her for me.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Yeah, but then Michaela will be like, why don't you just ask her yourself? That's just like Michaela.
Sarah, buckle up.
Michaela's such a great name. I wish I was called Michaela. There's like a dozen Sarahs in my class.
Hey, we're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I forget sometimes because my brain is like busy, I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
Sometimes it can be tough to get through to your kids, but it's not impossible. Always make sure they're wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Remember, you have the keys, you have the power. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
Confessions of a Potentially Perfect Parent, brought to you by AdoptUsKids.org.
Okay, here goes. I know more about cooking dinner for a party of 12 than I do about packing a lunch for a 12-year-old. I know kids like things like PB&J, pigs in a blanket. Oh, and fish sticks. They do love fish sticks. Fillets I get, but sticks? What part of the fish does the stick come from? I know I can read a cookbook that'll tell me how to make a red wine reduction, but where are the cookbooks that can teach me how to cut the crusts off bologna sandwiches? Oh, maybe we can compromise on mac and cheese. Can you make that with brie? Everybody likes brie, right?
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to push your food around their plate. Call 1-888-200-4005 or visit AdoptUsKids.org for more information. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
Welcome, NBA fans. Tonight's NBA
Man, nothing beats seeing an NBA game in person. Hey, buddy, thanks again for driving. So, where are our seats?
Oh, we're sitting right around the corner. Hey, but before we do anything, let me stop for a second at the designated driver booth and make the pledge.
Excuse me, sir. Did you say designated driver?
Yeah, I'm the designated driver tonight.
Congratulations. You are a winner. And for being the designated driver and always buckling up every trip, every time, you have won the adoration of your friends and family who will get home safely from the game.
Cool.
Your prize also includes the gratitude of all of the drivers on the road who won't have to fear for their lives. And finally, you've won the chance to follow your favorite NBA team to the NBA Finals because responsibility has its rewards.
Woo! Yeah!
To find out more, visit the designated driver booth at the arena or visit rhir.org. A message from this station and Team Coalition.
1450 WOL, where information is power.
This show has been previously recorded. No phone calls, please.
Real talk radio in the AM. Carl Nelson on 1450 WOL.
Thank you for rolling with us 18 after the hour with Professor Griff, Minister of Information from Public Enemy. You can fight the power at 800-450-7876. Timrod, your question or your comment for Professor Griff?
Professor Griff, look, brother, you know, I love to talk about solutions, and I launched this Black People Movement on Carl's show a year ago. I don't know how to do the industry. I looked at it a little bit, brother, but what I'm looking at this when I say that things need to be free is communalism is the power. Everybody's supposed to enjoy a yacht, not just one person. You got this man riding around in a giant yacht by himself and all the servants are the slaves. But what I'm looking at is we got land. This is what I did, Professor Girl. We got land to be able to produce food for a 350-unit low-income housing complex. We've already passed out about over 10,000 pounds of food. And we got the distribution network for dry goods. If we get the resource and get black folks just to buy in their own neighborhood, that's the CDs, man, for the little youngins to say what they want to say out here. But you can't come in my studio and get 50 CDs to just pass out to the whole world on your own. You know, like a $100 startup business almost. You know, I'll give you some, you go out there and do a good job, you get some more CDs, or you get this. But keep the resources so that the youth can have something to do and demand that they don't talk about that trash. See, they used to respect
Timrod, do us a favor, because we got a bunch of folks who want to speak to Professor Griff. Can you put in a question for him so he can respond?
Saying, Professor Griff, if we took, you talk to the hood, bruh. If we took the low-income housing complexes and circulate that money, that will solve the problem of all our arts issues and who's in control of it. There's so many hoods across the world. Am I correct?
Professor Griff, you want to respond to what Timrod said?
Well, yeah, I understand his business model, and that's something I probably have to sit down with that brother and kind of understand it from that perspective. But what I'm hearing is aspects of the old paradigm, because everywhere I go in the country, Carl, them low-income housing projects are turning into lofts because of regentrification now. You know, and as I travel, Capitol Homes, downtown Atlanta, was, Herndon Homes, Boeing Homes, And these homes where the projects were, they're no longer projects anymore, Carl. They're building stadiums and lofts and these kind of things because they're taking the inner cities back due to regentrification. Can I say one thing, Carl?
Sure.
Real quick, I hooked up with a company, a multimedia company in Brooklyn. It's called Millennium5.com. And it's a beautiful thing because for 2 years we've been sitting down with HSBC Bank. And every artist that purchases the software, Carl, can actually make their music, upload it, it goes global, and HSBC will allow us to educate the artist and bring the artist in to educate, to give the artist a resume, a discography, a bank account, and to get their life and their situation and their business model correct. HSBC is allowing us to give each artist a debit card so we can download your royalties right on your debit card.
Wow.
And this is launching April of 2016. And I'm in and out of D.C. and Maryland to discuss this, and New York to discuss it with small groups of people. We're doing focus groups now. And this is unheard of. They allow Blue Cross Blue Shield. We're sitting down with them and other insurance companies to allow insurance for every artist and a retirement plan for every artist. This is unheard of.
Yeah, that's what do you think the big major labels are going to say when they hear about this? And they probably already know, but what do you think is going to be a reaction?
Well, this is a game changer, and we've already hired security. So okay. We know this is going to be the game changer because we're trying to activate the artist. Listen, the next Stevie Wonder is out there, but when we find him, what are we going to do with him? We can't take him to the old paradigm and feed him back to the wolves. We have to have something new where he can thrive and he can live off of his creative ability and his art.
Is there a website people can go for more information?
Yes, www.millennium5.com. MILLENNIUM, the number 5.com. Or they could just call me 678-557-2919, Carl, and I'll give them all the information that and I'll send them a PowerPoint presentation.
All right, cool. If you can get all that information, just call Kevin at the station, and he'll pass it on for you. 800-450-7876, line 3. Tierra is waiting for us in Bmore. Tierra, you're on with Professor Griff.
Oh, peace and blessings, Professor Griff, and Carl, good morning. I wanted to confirm, just show an example of what Griff was saying in regards to Dre and a lot of the artists not having control of what they fund. I worked for the Casey Foundation here in Baltimore, and I do believe in calling them out. I wrote a program that the then president confirmed and told someone to introduce me to the gentleman who runs the Admiral Fund. Now, the Admiral Fund is a pot of money or a group, some athlete, I can't remember his name right now, who you go before him and his board and you introduce your program and they fund. So, but what happens is you have a bunch of Caucasian women who are in control, so they hinder and they dictate whether someone says, okay, well, we want this group to be introduced. You then have to go in before that board, and then they pick and choose who goes before the athlete to present their program. So that's one thing. But my other thing is Griff, I feel like this is a distraction, what they're doing to Bill Cosby. While it's real, I believe that there is something else that we should be paying attention to, because we know that this, what they're doing, I feel, and I just wanted to hear some of your insight on what you think, or if you feel as though this is like a huge distraction. There's something else that we really need to be paying attention to. Y'all have a great day.
Okay, give thanks, Tierra. Like I said at the top of the show, Carl, it's very difficult to kind of piece apart what's actually going on behind the scenes with Bill Cosby. I think because he was shielded by these people for so long, and he was allowed to go and do whatever it is that they're saying he's doing. A lot of times, Carl, when they bring you in and you take the oath, They always get dirt on you to hold over your head. You understand what I'm saying? So when we see this, we really truly don't know what Bill Cosby has been doing, because he's been in the bosom of the B.i.l.l., which are the advisors to the king.
And speaking about that, because some people say that Professor Griff talks about the Illuminati. Is this real or is this internet chatter?
No, this is not internet chatter. I like I said, when I wrote the book call, I did enough research for 3 books. A lot of the hard hitting stuff, I have to put in the second book. But people have died, as a result of some of these people are making certain moves in the music industry. People have lost their lives, lost their businesses. When they target you and go after you, it's critical. In order for them to even usher in a homosexual agenda, a feminization agenda into the music industry, where rappers are carrying skirts, wearing skirts and carrying man purses and this kind of thing. In order to even put an agenda like that in place, some people have to lose their lives, Carl. And this is very real, not internet chatter.
All right, hold that thought, and we'll expound on that and take some more calls for you. Terrence from Watts has got a question for you. 800-450-7876. You too can join the conversation with Professor Griff. Reach out to us. We'll take your calls next as the big show rolls on from the capital city.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I liked things to always be the same. Anything new or different would scare and upset me. I was very sensitive to lights and sounds. It was almost like I had bigger eyes and ears than everyone else. So I built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. I didn't like looking people in the eye. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'd throw big tantrums over little things, like when my socks didn't match. Sometimes I'd do the same things over and over. Until one day, I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Confessions of a Potentially Perfect Parent, brought to you by adoptuskids.org.
Okay, here goes. I know more about cooking dinner for a party of 12 than I do about packing a lunch for a 12-year-old. I know kids like things like PB&J, pigs in a blanket. Oh, and fish sticks. They do love fish sticks. Fillets I get, but sticks? What part of the fish does the stick come from? I know I can read a cookbook that'll tell me how to make a red wine reduction, but where are the cookbooks that can teach me how to cut the crusts off bologna sandwiches? Oh, maybe we can compromise on mac and cheese. Can you make that with brie? Everybody likes brie, right?
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to push your food around their plate. Call 1-888-200-4005 or visit adoptuskids.org for more information. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn those earrings today. I like those earrings. Gabby has those awesome earrings. I need to ask her where she got those, but that's just what she would want me to do. I'll have Michaela ask her for me.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Yeah, but then Michaela will be like, why don't you just ask her yourself? That's just like Michaela.
Sarah, buckle up.
Michaela's such a great name. I wish I was called Michaela. There's like a dozen Sarahs in my class.
Hey, we're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I forget sometimes because my brain is like busy, you know? I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
Sometimes it can be tough to get through to your kids, but it's not impossible. Always make sure they're wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Remember, you have the keys, you have the power. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
1450 WOL, where information is power.
This show has been previously recorded. No phone calls, please.
Real talk radio in the AM.
The #1 morning show. #1 on everybody list.
Carl Nelson on 1450 WOL.
Thank you for rolling with us 29 after the hour with Professor Griff from Public Enemy. You're finding the power right here this morning at 800-450-7876. Let's go to line 4. We'll get back to Illuminati in a moment, but Terrence in Watts has been home for a while. Terrence, you're on with Professor Griff.
Yeah, good morning, Carl, and good morning to Professor Griff. I saw Professor Griff back in 88. I was in high school, and we skipped class to go to UCLA because Public Enemy was performing back then. But you know what, Carl, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing tells us all the time, if your efforts aren't geared towards overthrowing the system of racism and white supremacy, then you're just trying to find a better place in it. And Bill Cosby found a better place in it. Oprah Winfrey found a better place in it. Ice-T, Ice Cube, and Dre found better places in it within the system. And he told us that, Griff was saying earlier, these people are entertainers. They shouldn't be looked upon as icons. The icons should be like Dr. Welsing and brothers like Amos Wilson and Leonard Jeffries and Ashra Kwesi. You know what, Carl? Like the brother was talking about naming names. Cube ain't coming back and putting nothing back down here. Dre ain't coming back. They had a college right there in Compton called Compton College. And in 2006, it lost its accreditation and its name. He could have gave some money to Compton College. Ice-T ain't coming back down here. You know what I'm saying? It's been like 30 years since these brothers left, and they're not coming back. And right now, I stand on the campus of USC because I work in construction, and we're doing a construction project here, and like Dr. Ashra Kwesi refers to it as a psychological gas chamber. Dr. Dre gave the money to USC because Jimmy Iovine is a big-time contributor and told him to give the money to USC. When you look at the history of these entertainers, you look at from the beginning. When you look at people like Alfred Lyon, Blue Note Records, you look at Leonard Chess Records, you look at Clyde Davis, and you look at Jimmy Iovines and Leo Cohen's and Rick Rubin's. All these Jews control these Negroes. So they have to beat to the drum of what they tell them to do, period, point blank. And Bill Cosby, when you were talking about him earlier, you had Elder Dick Gregory on. How come Bill Cosby didn't follow the model that Dick Gregory set? Dick Gregory left money on the table because he chose principles over profit. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, why do we continue to go to the aid of these people? Because they don't have our interests at hand. So, you know what I'm saying? Like a brother said one time that was on the show, Dr. Umar Johnson, he said, until you can protect our freedom fighters and punish the sellouts, it's going to be business as usual. You know what I'm saying? So, we run and talk about, well, Bill Cosby this, or, Dr. Dre came out with a movie, and come on, brother. I mean, these people don't care nothing about us. Right.
All right. Thanks, Terrence. Terrence mentioned a lot of names, Professor Griffin. I'm sure they all know your name. They all know you. Do they interact with you, or they're just trying to dismiss you that you don't exist? Or do any of them say, Griff, let's have lunch, let's talk? What is it you want? Are they trying to bribe you to shut you up?
No, not at all, bro. They avoid me. I was at this event, just kind of mingling among the people. And this was right when we did the thing with Spike Lee with He Got Game, with Denzel Washington. And just in the room with other people taking pictures, and I'm kind of so I go to take the picture, and Denzel Washington kind of went the other way. It's like they know who I am.
He can't be in the picture with you, right?
They can't be in the picture with me.
Wow.
They don't want to talk to me, man. It's cool, though. It's cool.
But he mentioned the Rick Rubins and Leonard Cohen and Russell Simmons and those cats in the music industry. You know them and they know you, and you've known them for years, as a matter of fact. But if they ever try to say, Griff, you need to cool it, man, on that black stuff. Griff, you need to do this. We could give you a contract, and have they ever tried that bribe?
No, not at all. Russell Simmons snuggled up next to me one time. I believe that's the Million Man March. And he was basically saying, well, all I had to do was just make a hit record, and they, and I underline they, could have made that whole thing go away. So I read into what he was saying. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't care nothing about a hit record. I care about black people. So a hit record would not have done it for me. That would have been some personal wealth, well, not some wealth, some riches. That would have been fine. You would have gave me a car, an apartment somewhere, or a house or whatever, and think I was just going to fade off into oblivion. It's not going to happen, Russell. So stop that. And that last caller, that brother's 100% no. That brother's 1,000% correct.
So would you? So you no negotiation period. Would you negotiate for us on behalf of black people? This is what I want you to do for black people, or black schools, or black children, or the shootings that are happening in the black community. Is that worth negotiating with them?
Yes. Bring me to the table. I'll negotiate for black people. You understand? All of us that want an education, all of us, everybody should be able to eat. Like the brother said, everybody should have a yacht. You understand what I'm saying? One of your callers said. It's the way that we can get it. And like I said, this company I hooked up with, we're going to make sure every artist that wants to be an artist and benefit from there without signing these 85-page contracts. You understand what I'm saying? I saw the Donny Hathaway story. It brought me to tears. That man was so talented. I see the TLC story and these stories with these artists going broke after they sold millions and millions of records. Somebody is benefiting. We're just not the ones benefiting. Why does somebody like Roy Ayers or Grover Washington Jr. or somebody have to end up broke in a retirement home somewhere after all that they've given to us? No. We have to stand up and defend those that have actually paved the way for black artists. You understand what I'm saying?
I do, and you're right. 800-450-7876, 24 away from the top of the hour. Lisa's joining us on line 6. Lisa's in D.C. Lisa, you're on with Professor Griff.
Hi. You know what? I really appreciate what he just said, because I look at that all the time with the artists, how it just seems like even if you get a deal, it isn't benefiting you. I said that about Whitney Houston. I feel like they knew for so long what she was going through. And as long as they made them
hold on right there, Lisa. Let me ask Griff this. Whitney Houston, was she sacrificed?
Whitney Houston was sacrificed, yes.
Explain.
Rituals and from top to bottom, yes. Was sacrificed, yes. But when I say that, Carl, now I'm putting myself in a position where I have to prove it. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I put the documentation together to prove it. Whitney Houston and her daughter.
Wow, that's deep. All right, we'll wait on that. Lisa, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
There's no problem. I do feel like that as long as they could make money off of her, they covered up her problem and they made her their success. Once they wasn't making money off of her, then we see her on the reality show and we start seeing what she was really going through. And I just think it's so sad that they take talented people and they destroy them. You don't see any entertainer who is successful and living a real happy life. They all go through all different types of crap, and we don't know about it until it all blows up. But my real issue was calling because of Bill Cosby. I couldn't even listen to the news report because it sickens me. I am tired of women taking advantage of the laws that have been put out there to protect women who actually go through serious issues. I do not believe that these people, these women, I think they all just want his money because of the simple fact that he paid out in that 2004 case. Then all of a sudden, all these women coming out. You're telling me 30, 40 years later, you just start feeling the pain of what you're saying you went through? I don't believe them, and I believe that it's sad because I watched that news reporter, and it was like, I don't know, it's like when they report something that went wrong with our people, they look like they have so much pride and joy talking about it, and I just looked at him, barely able to walk. I had to turn the TV off. I was just so disgusted because these women are destroying someone, and I don't believe what they're saying. I don't, especially the one lady who said after it happened, she didn't want to work for him for several years. Really? So you was so distraught by what he did, so you could work for him and collect money? I don't believe them at all, and I think it's just a tragedy, but that's what they want. Black men, a lot of people don't know, Bill Cosby is very rich, and he has a lot of power that people don't know about. And they've been trying to tear him down ever since he was trying to buy NBC TV stations. And I just think it's sad. I think it's just disgusting. And I just wanted to say that out loud for women to hear a woman say, stop abusing the laws that were made to protect us.
All right. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks for your call. I'll let Griff respond on the other side. We got to take a break for the news. 800-450-7876. You too can get in on this discussion with Public Enemy's Professor Griff. Reach out to us. It's toll free. It's worldwide. It's 800-450-7876. Your calls. Answer the news on 1450 WOL, where information is power.
You use Tearless baby shampoo because it's gentle on your baby's eyes. You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You always test the bathwater to make sure it's not too hot. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You make sure she wears a helmet when she rides her bicycle. You put on his sunscreen, even when he's embarrassed his friends will see. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Is your child facing the right way in the car seat? Is the seat too big or too small? How do you know when it's time to move your child into the next type of seat? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I liked things to always be the same. Anything new or different would scare and upset me. I was very sensitive to lights and sounds. It was almost like I had bigger eyes and ears than everyone else. So I built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. I didn't like looking people in the eye. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'd throw big tantrums over little things like when my socks didn't match. Sometimes I'd do the same things over and over. Until one day, I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm dropping you off at Emily's?
Yep.
And Josh, you're going to?
Soccer, Dad. Soccer practice.
Right. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know when I pick you both up, I'll be wearing my short shorts.
What?
No!
Yep, and my dorky dad hat, and I'm going to do my dad dance for all your friends. They'll love it!
Seriously? Why?
Because I like my short shorts. Of course, I could be talked out of it if you guys would just buckle up your seatbelts without giving me a hard time.
It's important to get your kids to buckle up for safety, no matter what it takes. And sometimes, all it takes is your parental powers of persuasion.
Okay, we're buckling up.
See, all buckled.
Good choice. I'll just have to do my dad dance at dinner time. What?
No!
Do what you have to make sure your kids are wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
1450 WOL, where information is power.
This show has been previously recorded. No phone calls, please.
Your voice can now be heard.
Y'all ready?
Yeah. With Carl Nelson weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. on 1450 WOL.
I thank you for staying with us, folks. 17 away from the top of the hour. Guest is Professor Griff. As you know, it takes a nation of millions to hold us back. That's what he says in Public Enemy. What are your thoughts? Griff, I'm going to let you respond to what Lisa said about what happened to Bill Cosby. And also, I got a bunch of tweets people want to know about the sacrifice that take place that some of the artists have to do as part of the initiation into that the group by the quote-unquote Illuminati. If you can expound on that as well.
Well, that'll be very difficult in the short amount of time that I have to finish this interview. But I wrote about it in my book, and part 2 of my book, The Psychological Covert War on Hip Hop, will be out probably the end of February. But it's to get people to understand it. There's certain things you have to break down, Carl, as far as secret societies and the music industry and the marriage between the two. And I've been talking about this since 2007. You understand what I'm saying? So it's kind of difficult to now have to go back, regurgitate some of those things to get people to understand. But the information is out there on YouTube. But what the sister just said, I just disagree with and not necessarily a staunch disagreement with one of the things that she said. She's right on point, but she says Bill Cosby has a lot of power. We need to be careful when we talk like that because we send the wrong signals to young people. Simply because what kind of power does Bill Cosby actually have, sister, if he can't get himself out of this mess? You understand what I'm saying? Why aren't you wielding your power to stop these people from coming after you? Who gave Bill Cosby the power in the first place? And what kind of power does Bill Cosby have? We need to stop sending up this false positive to young people to make it seem like these Negroes that white people have made have all of this power. And it's just not the case. It's not the case at all.
All right. 800-450-7876, line 3. Halim is calling us from Baltimore. Halim, you're on with Professor Griff.
Assalamu alaikum.
Where's Islam?
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air, brother.
Yes. From Richmond, Virginia. Halim.
Yes, sir.
Yes. What I'm saying is there's a proven voice among us that has been proven to give good advice to black people and that all of us should be heeding to, but we don't call his name at all. Minister Farrakhan and all of his lectures throughout America has been touching on all these issues that would help save us a lot of pain and embarrassment. And he shows us the way to get around a lot of these traps that's being set up for us. And I think that the real test, they would like to bring him before the public. And this is a battle that we will see soon, and a battle that a champion will win. And the minister should be good counsel and guidance for all black people if they will listen. All the entertainers and things that are going through these things, he has spoken to these issues over and over and over again. I'd like to hear Professor Griff expand on that.
All right. Thanks, Halim. Thanks for your call. Griff?
Yes, sir.
Well once again, Carl, people have this misstep. It wasn't until Public Enemy came out that Farrakhan's name was blown up and mentioned several times in our songs. Chuck D said Farrakhan's a prophet, and I think you ought to listen to. You understand what I'm saying? That we follow Farrakhan. Don't tell me that you understand it till you hear the man. So I don't know. I think people need to kind of stop that. You understand what I'm saying? If it wasn't for Professor Griff bringing the teachings of the Nation of Islam and making that at the core of Public Enemy's music and lyrics and thrust, I don't think we would have the Public Enemy that we have today. So, we've always given credit to where credit is due. When the history of even when the story was told with NWA in their movie, they had to mention the Nation of Islam because that's one of the routes that Ice Cube made when he hooked up with Khalid Muhammad. So when the Public Enemy story is told, you have to mention Ava Muhammad, Janetta Muhammad, Khalid Abdul Muhammad, Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, and all the local ministers, especially Temple No. 7 in New York. You have to mention that's part of our history. So come on, brothers. Come on now.
All right. Thanks, Eileen. Thanks for your call. 800-450-7876, 12 away. Let's go to line 2. Cynthia's calling us from Pittsburgh. Cynthia, you're on with Professor Griff.
Good morning. I have a two-part question. One is, how does Scientology fit into the whole picture? And when you talk about, for example, like Whitney Houston being sacrificed, what does sacrifice really mean? What do they get from sacrifice? Can you explain that a little bit, and how does Scientology fit into the whole picture?
Well, the science behind this whole Scientology thing, I think it would be better for someone that's a representative of the Nation of Islam to tackle and handle that particular question. That's not something I actually went through or studied or whatever. The question about the sacrifice, when we talk about sacrifice and we read about it in the Bible, what is it that Abraham was supposed to receive when he went up on the mountain to sacrifice his son? When we understand the whole religious aspect of offering a sacrifice to the God, we have to determine in the music industry, with the secret societies, what God are they talking about, and why is it a blood ritual and a blood sacrifice that these artists have to go through in order to aspire to the highest heights in the music industry, to get fame and riches and untold wealth. Why would we even have to go through these particular rituals that they've married onto the music industry and making artists go through that? They want to bind these artists to them forever. And what better way to do that than to bring them through these particular rituals and through these sacrifices and have them offer to them a blood sacrifice? Sister, I'm only skimming the surface of answering your question. It's a lot deeper than what I'm ever saying. But no one understands this. This will be explained in depth, as I already did in my book, The Psychological Covert War on Hip-Hop, Part 1 and now Part 2.
Okay, I'll definitely get the book. And the first question I was talking about Scientology. Is Scientology and the Nation of Islam connected now? Are they the same thing, or are they two different things?
Like I said, sister, I think it'll be better answered by someone that's representative of the Nation of Islam. That's active members and have actually went through that Scientology thing. I haven't.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, Cynthia. Thank you for your call. Griff, you're going to put all this on paper. And again, I keep asking about the concern of your safety, because that's my concern, because they don't want this message to get out. You know, and you're doing it at great risk to yourself. I mean, I didn't know that your house had a fire. I know you were in a terrible accident, but I didn't know about the fire, and I didn't know they shot at you and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just concerned about your welfare, man.
I put these things on Facebook because someone told me you need to start documenting these things that are happening to you, because you may be going on about your work, Professor Griff, but you don't know these things could be happening for a real reason. Like, these people are coming at you. You understand what I'm saying? This brother stole someone's car and ended up having a head-on collision with me, and then backed his car up and drove off, left me there unconscious. So I'm looking at that like, okay, I'm waking up. Is this just like an accident, or is this on purpose or intentional?
Right. Hold that thought right here. We got to take a quick break, and I'll come back. I'll let you finish up. 800-450-7876. Some one brave brother. His name is Professor Griff from Public Enemy. Take your calls next on 1450 WOL, where information is power.
Welcome, NBA fans. Tonight's NBA.
Man, nothing beats seeing an NBA game in person. Hey, buddy, thanks again for driving. So, where are our seats? Oh, we're sitting right around the corner. Hey, but before we do anything, let me stop for a second at the designated driver booth and make the pledge.
Excuse me, sir. Did you say designated driver?
Yeah, I'm the designated driver tonight.
Congratulations. You are a winner. And for being the designated driver and always buckling up, every trip, every time, you have won the adoration of your friends and family who will get home safely from the game.
Cool.
Your prize also includes the gratitude of all of the drivers on the road who won't have to fear for their lives. And finally, you've won the chance to follow your favorite NBA team to the NBA Finals, because responsibility has its rewards.
Woo! Yeah!
To find out more, visit the designated driver booth at the arena or visit rhir.org. A message from this station and Team Coalition.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn those earrings today. I like those earrings. Gabby has those awesome earrings. I need to ask her where she got those, but that's just what she would want me to do. I'll have Michaela ask her for me.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Yeah, but then Michaela will be like, why don't you just ask her yourself? That's just like Michaela.
Sarah, buckle up.
Michaela's such a great name. I wish I was called Michaela. There's like a dozen Sarahs in my class.
Hey, we're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I forget sometimes because my brain is like busy, you know? I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
Sometimes it can be tough to get through to your kids, but it's not impossible. Always make sure they're wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Remember, you have the keys, you have the power. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm dropping you off at Emily's?
Yep.
And Josh, you're going to?
Soccer, Dad. Soccer practice.
Right. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know when I pick you both up, I'll be wearing my short shorts.
What?
No!
Yep. and my dorky dad hat, and I'm going to do my dad dance for all your friends. They'll love it!
Seriously? Why?
Because I like my short shorts. Of course, I could be talked out of it if you guys would just buckle up your seatbelts without giving me a hard time.
It's important to get your kids to buckle up for safety, no matter what it takes. And sometimes, all it takes is your parental powers of persuasion.
Okay, we're buckling up.
See, all buckled.
Good choice. I'll just have to do my dad dance at dinner time. What?
No!
Do what you have to make sure your kids are wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
1450 WOL, where information is power.
This show has been previously recorded. No phone calls, please.
Real Talk Radio in the AM. Carl Nelson on 1450 WOL.
And thank you for sticking with us. Our guest is Professor Griff from Public Enemy. We've been fighting the power for the last few hours, folks. 800-450-7876. Griff, I'm going to let you finish up. Tell us how you see your situation, because I mentioned you dropping some knowledge. You're doing it differently. You're calling out names, people in the industry. People said that's what happened to Michael Jackson. So just your welfare yourself. Kind of concerned about your welfare after because I knew about the accident. I didn't know about the fired shots at you. I didn't know your house was burned down either. So real quick.
Right, like I said, I documented this stuff and I put it up on YouTube for people to see it for themselves. And a lot of times, people would make these kind of things up to garner some sympathy from the people. These are real life things happening to a real life person in your midst. You understand what I'm saying? When I kind of step back and look at these things, some people from the outside looking in and said, listen, like you're doing right now, Colin, says, I'm concerned about you. You might want to just start documenting these kind of things and kind of taking some safety precautions. But I've never been one of those kind of individuals where I felt I needed a security guard or a bodyguard. You understand what I'm saying? I'm a 3rd-degree black belt. I've been in shape. I'm 55 years old. I'm still doing one-arm push-ups, man, so I can defend myself. But it's from these other attacks that are coming at me that I just can't see. The spiritual one, the psychic attacks, the thing that I feel brought down Johnny Cochran and Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, these frequencies being sent their way to cause these aneurysms and this kind of thing. So it's very difficult, Carl. We're dealing with a different devil nowadays, man. Seriously.
Trust me, I understand. That's why we just want you to take care of yourself. But Griff, we got to run because we're out of time. Quickly, how can folks get that project you're talking about? It's in New York for aspiring artists.
It's www.millennium5.com, or just go to www.professorgriff.me, professorgriff.me, or just put in pgriff.info and the information to come, or just call me, 678-557-2919. Thank you very much, Carl.
All right, thank you, Professor Griff. Folks, about an interesting day. It's been started off talking about Bill Cosby, whether he's a victim or just a cold-blooded psychopath. If you didn't get a chance to call in this today on that, just give us a call tomorrow. It's being open phone Friday, first day of the year. Also, we're going to have a special guest. But right now, we got a traffic report coming for our folks who listen to the DMV. We want you to stay strong, stay positive.